Michael Sullivan.
Thank you. Boy, I tell you, this brings back some memories. I don't know if you folks listen to Todd on the radio. I try to listen to him every morning. He's one of the few people who can get his co-host not to say too much. So it's great to be here for such a very important event for Geoff Diehl's kickoff. I know Geoff has been running hard. This is not the beginning of his campaign. This is probably the middle of his campaign. As I was sitting there thinking back of 20 years ago, running for the very first time and having a few events here at the Whitman VFW. So this is like a good luck charm, Geoff. You're going to do terrific if you use the Whitman VFW for, an event on occasion. I know it served us well. But my brother Bobby was always my campaign manager. The youngest in the family of 7. I know Geoff is here with his wife, Kathy Jo. We always had family around us. We always had friends around us. And my brother signed on very early on. And I was happy he did it. He came very cheap, a meal or two. And I think I have a big IOU. But Bobby would sit down and he'd think about, how do you have a really winning campaign? And he did it for 5 elections for me. And he said, what you really need is you need a good organization. Looks like Geoff has a very good organization. You need to raise some money. And I know that there is a wheel out there, a cage or something. So I know Geoff's going to raise the money that he needs. And if you have 3 things, a good candidate, you'll win a seat. And then people would stop him and say, well, how many did you have, Bobby? He said, we always had 2. We always had a good campaign organization, and we always raised a lot of money, but it was always my brother that was the candidate. So, but we have a great candidate in Geoff. I had the opportunity to meet Geoff's father-in-law at a barbecue back here, Joe Boss, and said hello to Joe earlier tonight. I tell you, having family really at your side is critically important in campaigns. And it grows from there, obviously, with friends and the new acquaintance you make along the way. People who will sacrifice a lot in order to get you elected, Geoff, because they believe in you and they believe in what you stand for. Geoff recognizes bigger government doesn't necessarily mean better government. And bigger bureaucracies doesn't mean better services for the people that need things. He also knows that government really has to live within its own means. On the state side, you're supposed to have a balanced budget, but oftentimes they do that by simply raising taxes without thinking about the impact it has on hardworking families, the impact it has on small businesses, their ability to grow jobs. At the federal side, they just don't care. I mean, they just essentially spend money and they think they can print it and it'll have no effect at all. But it has a huge effect. So having Geoff there that understands the impact that state spending has on the hardworking citizens. And Geoff is not going there because he knows better than you or I. He's going there because he knows exactly how we feel at this moment in time. So I'm just excited to be here. I mentioned 20 years ago I campaigned for the very first time. I remember knocking on doors here in the town of Whitman. And they told me the last person that knocked on their door was somebody that knocked on their door 10 years earlier in his last campaign for state rep, and that was Andy Card. And it's so great to see Andy here. Andy has done such a tremendous job. But Geoff has already started knocking on doors. But the thing that I worry about the most is Geoff at some moment is going to come to me and say, I knocked on somebody's door, and they said the last time somebody knocked on my door was when Andy Card came around 1980. I'm hoping they say it was Ron Whitney, and then prior to that it was Mike Sullivan. But to Kathy Jo and to your family, congratulations for rallying around Geoff. It's so important in terms of having family behind you. Geoff, thank you for stepping forward. We're excited about it. And we know in November we're going to have a big victory celebration. Maybe it'll be here in the Whitman VFW, but it'll be someplace, I'm certain of that. And thank you all for being here. Congratulations.